fauna, water quality issues, air quality issues. We really know this state. When I say we, the Illinois Natural History Survey does. We didn't get some of the grants that have been gotten by the University of Illinois in, like, coal gasification and some of the big scale projects with the Department of Energy, because we had some political power or something. We got it because the Illinois Natural History Survey knows the geography of our state extremely well and was very competitive on the national level for some of these major grants. And so we were very fortunate to have such a place. So why do they want to partner with a community college? Well, because they're landlocked. They're in Champaign-Urbana, and there's no particular river around Champaign-Urbana, and they need access to the mecca of river research, which is here. There's no place in America that is a more dynamic place to do river research than where all the rivers come together at the confluence region of the great rivers. The Missouri, the Mississippi, the Illinois, just below us the Ohio, all come in here. This is a different biological phenomena in the river than any place else. There are people that study confluences around the world who are, I love some of these job terms, hydrologist, and people that look at nutrients and a range of different content areas. So we were approached by the University of Illinois to partner with them and to sort of take the lead on putting a state-of-the-art, world-class rivers field station at this place so that Illinois and this part of the country would become the leader in river research. If you think about it, in Massachusetts, there's the Woods Hole Oceanography Institute, and they study the Atlantic Ocean, and they're experts at what's going on in the Atlantic Ocean. They have ships, and they have 50 different universities that come in and out of Woods Hole to do river research. Everybody understands what an oceanography institute is. If you're in California, Los Angeles, then you have Scripps Oceanography Institute. That's the Pacific Ocean equivalent of Woods Hole. Everybody knows what they do. And they're all funded by NOAA and the Department of Commerce because the oceans are in our national interest, to know about and to protect. Fisheries industry, a whole range, you can imagine, why the oceans are in the national interest. Well, so are rivers, because about 70% of the economy of the United States depends on a distribution to market corridor from the headwaters of the Mississippi and Minnesota all the way down to the Gulf. And if this is not a navigation channel, that's what the Corps of Engineers primarily does. It keeps the navigation channel in place so that our products can be competitive with Brazil and China and all the products of the world. If Chancellor Easter from U of I was here right now, he would tell you that he's the former dean of the Ag School. He's a hog guy, and he knows a lot about ag. He's the U of I dean of the Ag School. And when they fired everybody above him, they said, "Who can we make the chancellor?" And he was it. And so now he's the chancellor. And then they brought back Eikenberry, who was the last great president of, in my opinion, of the University of Illinois. So Eikenberry's run the place again, and Easter is the chancellor, with institutional responsibility now across 20 colleges. He could not be more excited about this partnership. In fact, I'm going up in 2 weeks, and we're accepting an award from the University of Illinois for their most outstanding partnership of the year for the creation of this Great River Field Station with U of I. Why is he so excited? Well, because he has people in his engineering college who are fluvial geomorphologists, who study where rivers are going to go before they go, so they can predict where floods are going to go, when they're going to occur. Water turnouts. There's a tremendous problem with nutrients on the river right now, where we in the grain belt want yield in corn and soybeans, and so we put all these nutrients on our land. It gets in the water stream, and it goes down the river. And in New Orleans, there's a dead zone where nothing can live now, of 100 and some miles because of the nutrient stacking that ends up in the basin down there. So we got to solve this. It's $25 to the Rotary Club. Find that guy, will you? So the other thing is that, you know, the river is a part of our culture. And, you know that better than I do. You pick any time in history. The Mississippian Native American culture was here. The Coster site north of us, the most intact collection of Native American artifacts ever assembled in this part of the world. And, you know, they have evidence in that Coster site of where the first domestication of plants took place from weeds. You know, the farming started here. Didn't start anywhere else because they have the evidence for that, you know, at the Coster site. Domestication of animals, the first domesticated animals. So they have a dog. It was, you know, the oldest known domesticated animal from the Coster site. So you take any period of time, you know, going back to the last ice age, and this region, the confluence region, where all these rivers come together, is a critically important place in the history of our country. The culture of our country could not have occurred like it did without the influence of these rivers here. So terrestrial issues with forestry and watershed, if I say this is the second largest watershed in the world, Mississippi River watershed. It starts at the Continental Divide in Colorado, and it goes to somewhere in Pittsburgh, near Pittsburgh. And everything runs to here because of the nature of the watershed. So like I said, 60% of the economy comes through here. But then, so you think, well, obviously we're taking care of this resource, right? I mean, somebody's in charge of this. Well, no one is. The Corps of Engineers is keeping a navigation channel, and they're trying to deal with floods and things like that. You know, they have districts, 9 or 10 different districts. You know, there's no government agency, Coast Guard, Commerce, Army Corps, that's in charge of the sustainability of this magnificent watershed. Believe me, the other two, in Africa, the Congo rivers, and in Brazil and Argentina, the Amazon rivers, those people get it, and they're fastly, so I started to say, that Dean Easter, if he were here, would say that the greatest American farmers are, and he thinks they're the best in the world. They're not going to be competitive in another 20 years if we don't figure out our distribution channels to market. And this river is a critical factor in how those distribution channels make us competitive in world markets. And they're catching up in terms of productivity and yield and crops and techniques, seeds. These are world-class industries now. And distribution is going to be the key to that. He would argue that, you know, places like Walmart, I don't know if you're for or against Walmart, but they do have national, international distribution channels, and that's one of the factors that's in our favor. But the river is one of the things that is not in our favor if we don't figure out how to sustain it. So Lewis and Clark has basically created a part of our institutional, you know, the direction of our institution now that will be in river research with about 15 different partners: the Army Corps of Engineers, the Land Trust, Great Rivers Land Trust. Paul and I were talking about that earlier. The Illinois Natural History Survey, the University of Illinois, the Nature Conservancy, and a host of other organizations. So that's why you'll see this building here. That's why the kind of capital has been invested in it that has been in a really tough time, because Illinois and this region will become the center of the universe when it comes to rivers research. We've already had the Chinese delegation here from the Yangtze River last summer. We went there I didn't go, but our researchers went to China last year. We've had 3 years really of back and forth articulation with the Yangtze River group. Our turtle expert, John Tucker, is going over to China this summer. Here's the problem. I mean, am I taking too long, Paul? Or, one more comment. So John Tucker is this mountain man of a guy. He's kind of a crazy guy. He's a turtle expert. So he's out there capturing turtles all the time. You know, red slider turtles, and marking them for what sex they are and how many hatch cycles they have. And he's a wild guy. So it turns out his research is pretty important because the hatch cycles and their migration patterns south to north, they left the north in the last ice age. They're going back to the north.